Please clear the aisles. Please rise for the singing of the national anthem and the Hatikva.
Amen.
standing, I would like to call upon Rabbi Herbst to recite the paragraph Tefillin on behalf of Klal Yisrael.
Shir hamalos mimamakim kirosicho Adonai Adonai shema v'koli tihiyeno oznecho kashuvos l'kol tachanunoi Im avonos tishmorio Adonai mi yamod Ki yimecho haslicho leman tivorei Ki visi Adonai kiviso nafshi v'lidvaro cholti Nafshi l'Adonai mi shomerim laboker, shomerim laboker. Yachel Yisrael el Adonai, ki im Adonai hachesed v'harbei imo fidus. V'hu yivdes Yisrael mikol avonoso. Achenu kol beis Yisrael hanesunim batzaro v'ashivyo medim bein bayom uvein bayabosho hamakom yirachem aleihem v'yotziyem mitzaro l'rvocho me'afelo lioro mishugud l'gulo hasho ba'akolo v'zman koriv v'nomar omein.
Please be seated. Before we begin, I'm going to ask everyone to remember to just turn off the ringers on your phone so we can have a wonderful reception. Rishus Rabbi Goldstein, welcome to RYNJ's 8th grade graduation of 2016, Tufshin Ayin Vav. My dear graduates, well, you made it, guys. You're now about to complete the final stage of elementary school. You did it, and we are so proud of you. But how did you reach this point? And what can we learn from your journey? Well, perhaps we can start our conversation by looking at this week's parsha. Let's start with the encampment of Bnei Israel in the wilderness. When we read the Pesukim in Parshas Bamidbar, we see that Bnei Israel was arranged in a series of camps. In each camp, the tribes had a distinctive flag of colors. The Medrash states that the origin of the camp of flags was that at the time of the giving of the Torah at Har Sinai, Bnei Israel observed the Malachim arranged in a heavenly encampment, and Bnei Israel yearned to duplicate that arrangement. Thus Hashem commanded the organization of Bnei Israel to mirror the heavenly formation. Chazal tell us in many places that each angel is defined by its calling, and each angel has a distinct purpose. The same can be said for every Jew. We have a distinct tafkid, or mission, in serving Hashem. Therefore, even though the encampment seemed to be a communal issue, since it's based upon each al-diglo, each man by his flag, the group is made up of the talents and strengths of each individual. Moving forward, this helps us understand the words of Chazal in Parshas Yisro. When Bnei Israel arrived at Har Sinai, they were Ki'ish Echad B'Levech, as one man with one heart. Our sages praised the unity of the nation in preparing to receive the Torah. At the same time, this oneness of heart seemed to imply that individuality was cast aside for the greater national unity. However, when we stop to think for a second, we see from the flags of Bnei Israel that the uniqueness was not sacrificed. Each Jew brought his distinct strengths to collective consciousness and commitment, all for the good of the whole. Thus, my dear graduates, we see that discovering and expressing what makes us an individual is more than just a natural instinct. It is our responsibility to find the path to Avodas Hashem that suits each of us in a most fulfilling way for both the spiritual growth of the people and for our own personal happiness. In this class, we have future Rabbanim, Magidei Shia, doctors, lawyers, computer programmers, screenwriters, hedge fund managers, investment bankers, mathematicians, sports team owners, dentists, aspiring businessmen, and yes, perhaps even a future head of school. We have an array of talents and diverse personalities in this grade, but when you put them all together, we see the beautiful outline of a wonderful Jewish community. With that said, we can understand one more point. This past Shabbos, we recited Kiddush HaChodesh, the blessing for the new month. In the second part of that blessing, we recited two phrases that seemingly have no connection to one another. First, we say, Hu yigal asanu b'karov, v'eitin achenu me'arba kanfos haaretz. May He redeem us soon and gather in our dispersed from the four corners of the earth. Then we explain, Chaveirim Kol Yisrael. All of the nation of Israel are friends. It's an interesting combination. Friendship and Geula? How are these two thoughts related? Perhaps the answer lies in the Medrash Tanchuma, which states that the nation of Israel will not be redeemed until they become one united group. Thus, only when all the Jews are in harmony, concerned and caring for each other, will Hashem redeem His nation by gathering His dispersed ones from all around the world. The reality is, we are no different than Bnei Israel in the Midbar. Just as Yehuda had his perspective from the east, and Reuben had his perspective from the south, each and every one of you comes from a different perspective and offers different talents and personalities to the equation. But just like Bnei Israel in the Midbar, your focus must be on the Mishkan in the center. You must always be focused on the Torah, and you must always use the Torah as your GPS to guide you through life. The key is that each and every one of you must now take the next steps towards fulfilling your tafkid, your mission in this world. Each one of you must recognize your personal talents, continue to show respect and admiration for other perspectives, so that we can all come together one day and say, Chaveirim Kol Yisrael, v'nomar Amen. Mazel tov. It is now my pleasure to call upon Rabbi Rothwax to address the graduates. As you know, Rabbi Rothwax has accepted a new position at Yeshiva University next year, and we will be leaving our yeshiva. We thank him for all the great shiurim that he's provided. We thank him for the humor that he brought in the classroom. Most of all, we thank him for his friendship. Rabbi Rothwax, please address the graduates.
Rabbi Price, Rabbi Goldstein, Rabbi Kamenetsky, Rabbi Bernstein, colleagues, esteemed parents, and of course, graduates. Thank you so much for affording me this opportunity to do something that I've never really had an opportunity yet with my Talmidim, and that is to get in the last word, a moment that I'm going to treasure at this moment. It's hard to believe where all the time has gone. It feels like just 3.5 years ago that you guys became 8th graders. That's a joke. My son Yisrael told me I should make jokes, but the truth of the matter is, this is a serious occasion. One of the highlights for myself, and I know Rabbi Herbst, over the year and past years here at the yeshiva, is a tradition that we started several years ago, that once a month, around the time of Rosh Chodesh, we have a special session in Shir that's called Ask the Rabbi. Each and every one of our Talmidim has an opportunity to inquire, to learn, to explore, to discover, to ask questions that range from curiosity. Sometimes they're seeking to understand some of the most simple parameters and definitions of nuances within halacha, and sometimes they're asking about the broad and very far-reaching questions, the mysteries of creation, the purpose of life. Undoubtedly, there was some overlap over the months, but over the course of this past year, each and every one of my beloved Talmidim expressed in his own way the thoughts that was on his mind with sensitivity and maturity. Now, I did not keep score, and I don't think Rabbi Herbst kept a log. We don't have any real data when it comes to this, but I can tell you several questions that you did not ask once of the many opportunities that you had. No one ever asked and asked the rabbi, why was I created? How do I determine what is my unique role in this world? How can I identify my personal strengths and my greatest weaknesses? And what do I do with that information? How can I make this world a better place? These were questions that you could have asked, but you didn't. Now, to be clear, I am not faulting you and I am not being critical of you. After all, you're 14 years old, and your interest in the world focus, understandably, on that which is around you, that which you can feel and touch and see, much more than that which is inside. On the other hand, it is our hope, our prayer, and our expectation that in the coming days and weeks and months and years ahead, these are some of the questions that you will begin to ask, not only your teachers and your parents and your grandparents and each other, but most importantly yourselves. As you make this transition into high school and beyond, you will hopefully begin to focus more of your attention to the world and to the universe within, in addition to the world around you. This past week, in Parshas B'Fukosai, the Torah records a procedure for an individual who comes and would like to make a donation to the Beis HaMikdash, to the temple. But he does so in a rather peculiar way. Rather than just taking out a checkbook and saying, I'm going to give $180 to Hekdesh, he seeks to donate his own value to Hekdesh. Edwin Moshe Feinstein, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, in the Sefer Darash Moshe, points out that if you take a look at the Psukim and the way the halacha is defined over the ages, something very fascinating emerges. There are basically two different modes, two different ways that we evaluate the value of a person. If a person says, Erki Elai, that I would like to give my erech, so then we have, the Torah gives us a specific formula that is used. Depending on the gender and the age of the individual, we can tell you what your value is. However, if a person says, D'mei, my value, so then we look at this specific individual, not as one part of a greater whole of the population, but as a specific individual, and say, well, what are you worth? What can you contribute? What do you, in fact, mean to society? And Rav Moshe explained very beautifully that we see from here that in life, every individual can be evaluated on two levels. There's absolute value, which is what God has made you, and then there's the subjective value, which is what you make of yourself. There's a famous story that's told of the Nesiv, and I'm sure many of you have heard this story. No matter how many times I've heard it or told it, I never get bored of it. The great Nesiv, the Tzvi Yehuda Berlin, who's known to many of us not only as the Rosh Yeshiva, the Vlad Yeshiva, but the one who authored the Hamik Sheila, Perush HaMishiltos, the Hamik Davar, the Perush HaMchumish, the Chuvas Meshav Davar, the Risad and Shas, and other Svarim as well. And then Tziv says that when he was about your age, each and every one of you, sitting to my right, he woke up one night and he overheard his parents talk, and specifically heard his father crying. Because you see, Naftali Tzvi Yehuda was not the best behaved in Cheder, and he wasn't coming home with the best grades. And his father was lamenting the fact that his son, rather than becoming the great Torah scholar that he dreamed of, was likely to become a shoemaker. And his mother tried to reassure his father and say, don't give up. And listen, at the end of the day, if he grows up and he becomes an honest, hard-working shoemaker, that's not a bad thing. And his father says, I know, but. And he heard the great frustration and the tears. And then Tziv told this story. And he said years later, it's amazing, because had he not heard that conversation that day, he would not have gone into the yeshiva the next day the way he did, which was with a new outlook and a fresh look and a sense of determination and motivation. And he went in and he learned and he changed everything. And then said to Tziv, imagine, had I never heard that conversation, I would have gone to the Olam Emes and they would have welcomed me in, a great shoemaker, and they would have said, so where is the Hamik Sheila, where is the Hamik Davar, where is the Maroni Sada, where is the Meshav Davar, where is the Vlad Yeshiva? And I would have looked at them and said, what are you talking about? That was what you could have been. That was not your error, but that was your dummy. That was the subjective value. Now, as Rabbi Price just mentioned, the point of the story is not that each and every one of you should become a Rebbe. I know that I have a band, you probably should have been shoemakers. The point of the story, thank you. The point of the story is that each and every one of us can become truly great and awesome. We can all become something truly extraordinary. And as you enter this new stage of your life, as you begin to emerge as individuals who reflect not only on your absolute value, but on your relative value. So I can say, representing your teachers with great humility, you have already begun to amaze us. During your formative years here at RYNJ, you have matured in incredible ways. Just several days ago, as Rabbi Bernstein, Rabbi Herbst, and I were sitting towards the end of the day at Hershey Park, looking at each and every one of you, enjoying your time informally. And I think it was Rabbi Bernstein who said, I have to give him credit, these kids are great. Look at them, each and every one of them. They're such great kids. You've made us incredibly proud. And thinking back over this year, I could say, without exaggeration, and I thought about this long and hard today, and I said, I don't want to get up in front of all these people and say something that's not true, so I called Rabbi Bernstein. I said, please, fact check this. It seems to me that over the course of this past year, not one of my Talmidim, that's each and every one of these fine young men sitting to my right, had hurt, had insulted, had betrayed another. To the contrary, what I've seen throughout is extraordinary actos, genuine care and concern for each other, true arvus, a sense of responsibility, of commitment, of loyalty to each other. This is incredible. And my friends, this is you. This is not what Hashem has made. This is what you have made yourselves. Our hope and prayer is that just as you have made us so proud today, have you begun to develop into young men b'nei Torah with extraordinary midos. B'ezras Hashem, you should continue on that path. Hopefully you should continue to find your place in this world, to continue to have many Ask the Rabbi sessions, not only in yeshiva and high school, not only with your rabbis and your communities, but to continue your search for knowledge, for information, for inspiration. And we hope and pray that you will continue to grow. You will continue to make each and every one of us proud. You'll continue to make your parents proud. You'll make the Rabbanu Shalom proud. But most important, more than anything else, you'll make yourselves proud. Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi Rothfuss.
As I prepare to welcome your children to the stage, we kindly request that applause be reserved until the end of the completion of the cantata and presentation. Please do not applaud for individual speakers because your applause will drown out the next student who is speaking. And obviously we want each and every one of them to have their moment. Please be considerate. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Roosevelt Yeshiva North Jersey graduating class of 2016.
Good evening, family and faculty. Welcome to the graduation ceremony of the Roosevelt Yeshiva North Jersey's class of 2016.
Today is a momentous day. We are grateful that you have joined us to share in our celebration.
When we were given the opportunity to select the theme of our cantata, we decided to embrace a very special topic.
We chose authors, unity. We wanted to highlight the unity of our grade and our motto brought to scale, unity among us strong.
In a few days, we will be celebrating the holiday of Jews, commemorating the giving of our Jewish people.
The names were also at the foot of Percy and I. They were for the very first time in the United Nations.
In Sacred Smoke, Paragraph 10, Hustle Fed, the Torah states, by Yisrael Creative, by Yahweh Bar Sinai, by Yahweh Bar by Yahweh Israel, by Yahweh.
Rashi points out that there's a shift in the wording of the hustle. The Torah relates that the Jewish people came to the Barsina, and the verbs are in plural form.
However, Hamikada demanded,
At that very moment, a fledgling group of free slaves became an Am, a nation, one entity, Keisha Chad.
All united to embrace the word of Hashem, all ready to embrace the Torah.
When they entered Eretz Yisrael, they were instructed that the time had come for every Jew to be responsible for the next. Kol Yisrael Orim Zeh Bazeh.
We realized the great power of Achta in our Navi class as we explored the Shmuel bed and learned about the Ring of Allah. After years of infighting among the tribes, all of Israel came together in the city of Hebron to anoint David for king of all of Israel.
This early gathering was described in essence occurring in Bnei Hashem before God.
The words of Hashem symbolize the Shekhinah, the divine presence rested upon Bnei Israel at that time.
And what was so special about that day? That the Jewish people were buried in the presence of Hashem's Shekhinah.
It is because we are all united, all the members of the tribe came together as one.
So it is when we are confident, we rise to new heights and become greater than the sum of our parts.
Our most sacred vessel, the Arrow, that
miraculously demonstrated the beauty and majesty of Akhtur. The two cherubim, childlike angels that sat on top of the ark, faced each other only when Israel were carrying took responsibility for one another.
Unfortunately, there have been times in our history where we did not just way out. The Talmudim of Rabbi Akiva suffered the ultimate punishment for their lack of concern for their fellow Jews.
And the base of Mikdash, the holy temple, was destroyed because of senseless hatred displayed amongst members of Klal Yisrael.
Those are times we should not go over. As we remember the many years we spent in the Roosevelt Yeshiva of North Jersey, we reminisce about the obstacles among this year's graduating class. Learn together, eat together, and laugh together. We fondly remember the special trip that we were privileged to go on this year. We went to Washington, D.C., where together we learned about American history and our government. We spent Yom HaShoah at the Museum of Jewish Heritage, where we learned more about our people's past, united through some very tragic times.
And just a few days ago, we went to Hershey Park, where our office was expressed in amazing family sharing.
As we reflect upon the test we received at RYNJ, we understand that we are encouraged to think beyond ourselves, be considerate and caring for those in need.
And to understand that we cannot have unity unless we take responsibility for those who are less fortunate.
We are proud of our visits to senior facilities where we sing, entertain, and interact as minstrel magicians. Remember the Yom HaShoah Carnival, where we all work together as one to ensure that the younger students of RYNJ have a fun and meaningful day. And the many years of marching on Fifth Avenue and Discover April Parade,
Showing openness with members of Klal Yisrael and our love and loyalty to the state of Israel.
we remember the Chazet Japanas when we set the cemetery earlier this year. For the past 2 months, we worked together to create beneficial moments. I want to spend some time.
Our raised much needed funds to help grow and encourage the battle of ALS.
We hope that you are proud of us in that one, that you will continue to be proud of us as we continue on this past 7 forums.
We'd like to thank our parents, grandparents, and all the rest of our family and friends for your love, your care, and your guidance. I'd like to express our heartfelt growth to our teachers, obeying, and administrators for giving us a foundation to live a thorough way of life and the tools to be lifelong learners.
Fellow classmates standing on the stage today, members of the Roosevelt Yeshiva of North class of 2016. It's hard to believe that tonight's graduation is the last time that we'll all be together.
And now let us remember all the wonderful times we shared, the gospels we created, and be sure to take the effort no matter where life may take us.
As Hashem, merit that when we'll all be reunited as the entire Jewish nation stands once more with Hashem.
Show me Israel.
as we get ready for the moment. So as we get ready for the moment we receive the diplomas, I just want to take a few seconds to thank a lot of wonderful people in the room. I want to thank Roy Horn, Roy Goldstein, Roy Kamenetsky, Mrs. Wexler, Roy Zucker, Roy Bernstein, Mr. Nolan, all the faculty members that are here, for everything you've done for these boys and preparing them for this moment. I want to point out and thank the PTA for organizing the efforts of the reception downstairs, Dr. Fuchs and the Mirror Rock, and the parents from the 7th grade class, Lisa Hoffman, Robin Goldberg, Sarah Engel, and also to Joyce Clark for everything they did in order to prepare for this graduation. At this moment, it is now my pleasure to call on my partner overseeing this yeshiva, the president of the yeshiva, Glenn Pfeiffer.
Good evening. My name is Glenn Pfeiffer. As the president of Roosevelt Yeshiva Jersey, I would like to welcome you all to our 71st annual graduation ceremony. 10 years ago, the year was 2006. A lot of very interesting things were happening in the world. Twitter was launched with its famous 140 character limit. Dick Cheney shot someone by mistake. Enron executives were convicted of multiple counts of various felonies and sentenced to prison. Pluto was demoted from planet status. Saddam Hussein was hung. The Steelers won the Super Bowl. The Cardinals won the World Series. The Miami Heat won the NBA championship. And the class of 2016 entered pre-K at RYNJ. It has been an incredible ride since then. Sitter plays, snow days, except this year, tests, construction, Hanukkah performances, dress codes, homework, mission affairs, new gyms, fire drills, muffin mentions, Chromebooks, achievement tests, state fairs, term papers, Torah Bowls, the Jaguars, Shakespeare plays, trips, BJE exams, talent shows, your yearbook, and now, graduation. To our graduates, the 47 young men in the RYNJ class of 2016, today we celebrate you and all that you have accomplished. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I wish you, your parents, grandparents, and extended families a tremendous mazel tov. Let's talk about your parents for a minute. Today would be a good day to hug them and thank them for their love and support. Because as much as this is your achievement, this is also the achievement of the people who care about you. There has been an extraordinary amount of sacrifice from them to bring you to this point, and it is certainly worthy of your gratitude. Graduates, please stand up and give your parents a special round of applause. I would like to specifically mention and give a mazel tov to the following grandparent circle members who are joining us tonight or watching via our live stream. The Parvers celebrating Aaron Teigman's graduation, and the Weinbergs celebrating Max Price's graduation. Finally, I would like to wish an extra special mazel tov to the 11 families here who are celebrating the graduation of their last child at RYNJ. The Achdut, Dresner, Kay, Kornfeld, Levin, Nissel, Rosenberg, Sammel, Srago, Weiner, and Weinreich families. Some of you have been part of RYNJ for just a few years, and others have been with us for over 20 years. We have been blessed to share in your nafas as together we have watched your children grow into the incredible young men who are before us today. Please know that you will forever be part of the RYNJ family. Mazel tov. It is now my privilege to award each of our graduates their hard-earned diplomas. I've been practicing the names for quite some time now. If I mispronounce anything, I ask your forgiveness, and please feel free to correct me. Aaron Aftur. RYNJ. Azaria Ben Nun. Ora Moshe Valor. Shmuley Coates. Andrew Cohen. Yoshua Dresner. Gabriel Fishman. Avram Froelich. Dovi Fuchs. Shlomo Gilman. Ike Gumov. Mendel Hahn. Pinchas Meir Hirschbaum. Yona Waba. Yoel Jacobson. Mendel Chapman. Jonathan Ted. Moshe Clavin.
And you're they go away for a while.
Kobe Kornfeld.
Thank you all for inviting me to be here.
Yonatan Kasowski.
Thank you all for letting me graduate my camera.
Giddo.
I'd like anyone to volunteer to get ready right now.
Harris Levin. Menashe Roselle. Donnie Morris. RYNJ. Yisrael Rifar. Ezra. Donnie Palmer.
Thank you all for letting me here on this college.
Max Price.
Thank you all for letting me here. Have a great time.
Shai Rosenberg. Yisrael Senegal. Shimmy Schwartz. Ezra Suffolk. Nathan Srego. Aaron Hyman. Zev Tobin. Shalom Tuckman. Aaron Weiner. Yoni Weiner.
Thank you, RYNJ, for teaching me so many things, both of which I will never use out in fun.
Ovadia Yaish. That's all for the class of 2016.
Thank you very much for your work. I will